Touch the leg. Welcome to Tibet This Week, a weekly news on Tibet, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and Central Tibetan Administration. Let's look at the headlines first. His Holiness the Dalai Lama continues his engagements in Leh Ladakh. His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Central Tibetan Administration congratulate the Indian Vice President-elect. Sikyong attends Inauguration ceremony of Conference of Experts on Tibetan Culture. Tibetan Parliament-in-Exile organizes workshop on strengthening democracy. Tibet support groups convene meeting to strengthen Tibetan cause. His Holiness the Dalai Lama addressed the Tibetan community in Ladakh at the Tibetan Children's Village School in Choklamsar on Sunday last week. His Holiness in his address remembered the circumstances that led him and the tens of thousands of Tibetans to seek refuge in India and said that times are changing and truth will prevail, and therefore he emphasized the audience to remain strong and preserve the sense of brotherhood and sisterhood.
아더보도 상매 하섬 도서 직지시 대버리 나패시 세 니슈자다 땡데 데그리 에네 데리는 그냥 사물로 나르신도 심슈 깨네 에네 배자심 뭐 사물로 대화다 덤지 요매버체니 다다는 신체니 슈아 에네 지금 전부는 요된데 죽으리 아주 벽을 땐다 세니 아주 시시매마 냠도 좀니这些罗里가든 지야 지금 뒤수시 때인데 용스 다시 용야래 애가 사모로 대버지 쉬시 애는 저시들이 쉬어야지.
His Holiness also urged the people of Himalayas to take an active interest in the teachings of Buddha by listening to teachers and reading books, reflecting on what they have learned and meditating on what they have understood. On Wednesday this week, His Holiness the Dalai Lama graced and gave a brief teaching on the 8 verses for training the mind by Katamba Geshe Langri Thangba to the participants of Great Summer Debate at Lingshi Monastery in Lingshi Village, Ladakh. His Holiness the Dalai Lama flew by helicopter from Leh to Lingshi Village and drove straight to the ground beside the monastery, where he stressed on the significance of studying Buddhist philosophy in schools and monastic institutions. His Holiness on Thursday this week received a rousing welcome from the people in Zanskar Valley in Ladakh, where he met dignitaries at Padum and highlighted the importance of Buddhist teaching in Himalayan region. His Holiness the Dalai Lama congratulated Sri Jagdeep Dhankhar on being elected as the Vice President of India on Monday this week. His Holiness offered his good wishes and prayers to the Vice President-elect, stating that with Laddakh's long and rich experience of public service, he will be able to serve this great nation and its people with success. Speaker Khenpo Sonam Temple of the Tibetan Parliament-in-Exile and Sikyong Pempa Sring of the Central Tibetan Administration also conveyed their congratulations on behalf of the Tibetan people and the CTA to the Vice President-elect of India, Jagdeep Dhankhar, on his sweeping victory. Sikyong Pempa Sring, along with Secretary Chimit Seyang, attended the inaugural ceremony of the 2-day Conference of Experts on Tibetan Culture, organized by the Department of Religion and Culture, Central Tibetan Administration at Dharamshala on Wednesday this week. Underscoring the necessity of preserving Tibetan culture and arts with more emphasis on Tibetan language and religion, Sikyong Pempa Sring highlighted the persistence of concentrated Tibetan community in exile despite the surge of scattering Tibetans abroad. Sikyong also put forward the idea of sustaining Tibetan settlements through introduction of tourism, which helps in the perennial existence of the exiled Tibetan community, creating a suitable environment where Tibetan language, religion, culture and arts are passed down to the newer generations. Sikyong, the Secretary of the Department of Religion and Culture, in her introductory remarks, spoke on the objectives of the conference, saying that the policies of Chinese Communist government intend to sinicize Tibet, putting Tibet's unique culture in a precarious state, and therefore several meetings are scheduled under the department's Strategic Plan Development of Tibetan Culture program to promote the preservation of Tibetan culture. The Conference of Experts on Tibetan Culture is to discourse on the current status of Tibetan culture in exile and its future prospects. A total of 23 experts on Tibetan culture, consisting of permanent directors and chairs of various institutions, scholars, writers, and artists, participated in the two-day conference. Speaker Khenpo Sonam Temple and Parliamentarian Purba Dorje Gyaltong gave a 5-day workshop on the strengthening democracy at the grassroots level, organized by the Tibetan Parliament-in-Exile for the local Tibetan assemblies of Ladakh Lejang at Sonamling Tibetan settlement, Ladakh, from Monday this week. The speaker in his address briefed the participants on the objective of establishing local Tibetan assemblies as per the aspiration of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, considering its significance in the democratic setup. He also shed some light on the evolution of Tibetan democratic polity and workshop projects and its importance. Parliamentarian Purba Dorje Gyaltong spoke on how rules and regulations are formed as per instruction in the Charter, citing the example of the rules of budget, the rules of parliamentary procedure, and others. There are 35 participants, including Chief Representative Officer Thundup Tashi, members of the local Tibetan assemblies, and the regional Tibetan freedom movements of Ladakh Lejang in the workshop. All-Party Indian Parliamentary Forum on Tibet convened a meeting with members of Core Group for Tibetan Cause India with the initiation of the Apex Coordinating Body of Tibet Support Groups in India on Wednesday last week at India International Centre, New Delhi. Shri R.K. Krimi, National Convener, Core Group for Tibetan Cause India, welcomed the participants and briefed them about the Core Group and Tibet Support Groups in India, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, CTA and Tibetan Parliament-in-Exile. Members of Parliament Shri Sujit Kumar introduced the functioning and significance of the All-Party Indian Parliamentary Forum for Tibet. He also spoke on the Tibetan Rehabilitation Policy of 2014 and laid out points in regard to the welfare of Tibetan refugees and settlements in India, protection of Tibet's environment, and reincarnation of His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. The members discussed the strengthening of All-Party Indian Parliamentary Forum for Tibet and suggested having meeting of the forum from time to time to work on the Tibetan issues. That is all for this week. See you next time and have a great weekend.